Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here. I know I was gone for a while. I'm just really focused on Pro Dota right now. If you guys don't know, I'm playing on a team named Apex Genesis. We're currently playing in the qualifiers, the closed qualifiers of Fisher Playground America. So if you want to support me, watch those games. We just won our first round in a 22-minute game and a 17-minute game. We dominated. So we're really hoping to qualify. It's going to be $1 million tournament if we do. I genuinely believe we have a really good shot. So I've been really focused on that, putting videos on the back seat, but I thought might as well, make a video on something I'm really passionate about. This is a game I played today. It's a pub. It's Veno Jungle. Veno Jungle, I genuinely believe this, and I'm not just saying this, is overpowered. Now, a lot of people are going to hear that and say, you're saying that for the sake of the video. No, I think Veno Jungle is straight up an incredible pub strategy. In fact, I think it's potentially one of the best pub strategies. And I'm going to explain why here today. If you have a closed mind, I understand you're not going to hear what I have to say, but really guys, if you have an open mind, this is one of the most fun strategies in the game, and it's more than viable. In fact, I think it's good at every level of Dota. On top of that, go sign up to the GameLeap website, guys. I'm posting new content over there almost every day, and I'll see you there. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is before the game starts. So I'm position 5, you can do it as position 4, but whatever lane you make solo lane, you want to sentry ward the camp that they need blocked. So in this case, I'm going to my safe lane to start the game, and I am blocking this camp, right? I want to make sure that, yes, this guy is solo laning, which sucks a bit for him, but at least I'm going to be able to block this camp and make his early laning stage that much easier. And the lower MMR you go, the less likely this camp is to be unblocked. People are pretty good about it nowadays from what I've seen, but still, it's really good to block that camp or block the small camp on the other side to get off your teammate to a good start. From there, I do put a couple of wards on whomever's head before I go back to base. You do want to go back to base. But yeah, give this guy some wards, in case he wants to fight the rune. Hey, help him out a little bit, right? It doesn't do a lot, but it does a little. So you want to go back to base, and the item build that I like going here, well, if you're full greeting, you can have 2 branches and 2 clarities. In fact, I think we only got 1 bounty this game, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, we got 2. I ended up being able to get 2 branches and I believe 3 clarities, which is like my optimal starting item build. Okay, I could have bought an extra branch there. And the reason why, yeah, I bought it late, I was being lazy. So what you want to do, and this is really important, I even wasn't perfect about this, at around 22 to 23, you want to use your first plague word. You should have the facet plague carrier. I'm going to get into this facet in a little bit, but you put the first plague word on your head at 22 to 23. Then you let it tick back up to about 3, and you only place it during this fountain rejuvenation. Right, you'll see I'm going to place it during that regen to kind of try to min-max how many are on my head. And then I'm not going to place the next one until I have about 3 charges, right? And the reason why is when you let it go up to this 3 charge, you're not wasting any time, and you get the maximum duration from your plague wards. Now, I actually zoned out here. Like, I don't know what I was doing. I literally zoned out. You do not want to let it sit at 3 like I did here. That was it's really bad to do that. But you want to keep placing them right before 3, and that's how you get max duration on your plague wards. Then, once you start farming these camps, you're going to place them all down. You notice now I'm going to go to 0 as the camp spawns. On the other side, you do the same thing. You go to the jungle. Typically, what I do is I either farm this camp first or I farm this camp first, and then you just kind of run down these 3 camps. It's pretty straightforward. So place the plague wards, and it's very easy. For starting items, Sage's Mask, this is going to turn into mana boots. The Blightstone, there's 2 reasons why you buy it. It amps up the farming speed, and it also works with Septic Shock, so it gives you 10% base damage. So it's an extra 4 to 5 damage on your right clicks, which is nice. So you do want to kite out the camps because the attached plague wards, and I have 8 to 9 right now, have reduced health compared to putting them on the ground. Plus, when you get hit, you take damage and your plague wards take damage. So it's not exactly super efficient if to get hit. So you really want to kite. Your main priority is to not get hit. But look how fast you wipe out these camps. 2 camps in, I'm level 2. And by the way, you can take Ancients. It's just as viable, maybe even better. I'm looking into that. But now the next thing I do is when I take the camp on the high ground, I place a ward on the high ground so I maintain vision of the camp. And this allows me to continue to kite it up and down the hill. And we're going to farm the entire rotation by a minute 2. And again, once you have downtime when you're not farming a camp, you want to let that timer go back up to just before 3. And then when the camp spawns, you drop all the plague wards. Then for your next items, you're going to buy 1 more clarity, Bassy, right? So Clarity, Bassi, and continue to farm up all the camps. Level 3 at minute 240, which is about the same as most of the cores in the other lane. So you're not really ramped up yet, but it gets faster over time, right? So it's going to get better when you can take more than 3 camps a minute, which we're getting to there. It becomes almost, 50 to 60% faster at your next level. And so now I'm really starting to wipe out these camps, and you can see that. Only takes me 20 seconds to kill off those camps. We get a nice spawn on the acorns. These are really fast to kill. And then we can fit in a whole extra camp now that we have those level 3 plague wards. I even decided to stack this camp, farm up this, got the stack here. Did people really don't like when you jungle? This guy was tilted, and you know what? I understand. I'm not going to go ahead and say this strategy has no flaws. The flaw is that you're sacrificing your lanes a bit. You know, my Kez is actually even with the Legion, but the sniper, he died to Ember for first blood and then died again to a punch gank, and so he got really tilted, right? Honestly, is this the end of the world? Should he get super tilted? No, and the reason why is even though he died first blood and died again, the game is fine. The net worth is completely even, and he messed up really bad pre-rune. And so if you're playing with Veno jungle, guys, even if your lanes are a bit bad, you have to trust that he's going to carry you from minute 530 to minute whatever, the rest of the game. This hero scales incredibly well, and even here, I saw an opportunity. So I was jungling through these camps. I saw an opportunity, and I'm watching the lanes. I'm looking to see what happens. And this Legion was low. I come over, Gale, and he's dead. And that is why I always take Gale at level 4. It might be tempting to take Poison Sting to jungle faster, but you should always take Gale at level 4 so that you have it to roam, right? It's Poison Sting at 3, Gale at 4, ulti at 6, and now you need to be buying more clarity. So you finish your mana boots. I drop my branches on the ground to get efficiency. You don't have to do that. It's fine. Again, letting the Plague Wards tick to 3 when I'm not farming. Kind of trying to min-max all this. You can see I'm doing that. And now I'm level 6 at minute 530. And that's including my sniper sapping my stack. That is a 530 ult. No one in the lobby has ult. But I got a kill on Legion, and I didn't get contested. And now, look at this. Now I'm roaming, right? Now I'm roaming. We get a kill on Legion here. It's obviously super ulti. It's super easy when you have an ulti at minute 530. Drop it on the Legion, and we kill her off. Super straightforward. Almost every offlaner in the game would have died there. I don't know which would live. There's basically none. So we get a kill back to the jungle, level 7 at minute 6, right? Which is just insane. And my main mindset at this point is I'm going to jungle until I have ult. You don't have to. You're incredibly strong at this point in the game with 7 to 8 to 9 to 10 wards that deal 38 damage per hit. I mean, these wards can be dealing 300 to 400 damage per hit, per set of hits on heroes. But at this point, I like going to Ancients. You farm them really quickly. They give a bit more XP, so I will generally lean towards taking Ancient rotations. And now, here's a couple things with the next few items. So, and this is actually important to note. So when you get close to your ult, there's a couple things you have to do. This hero has severe mana problems, so I always buy one. I like buying Windlace because you're very slow, so it helps you move around the map, go from camp to camp, get your ulti off, get your Gale off. So I buy Wand, Windlace, more Clarities. You do have to continue to buy Clarities even with mana boots, especially if you're ganking. If you don't gank, you don't really need the Clarities. If you do gank, you will. So generally buy Clarities. Now, I make a pivot this game. I don't always buy an old Talisman. Typically, I'll just at this point buy another Clarity and Fluffy Hat, and that's going to build into Bevis. Plus, I will buy Blood Grenades. I don't know why I decided to switch it up this game. I actually prefer just going Fluffy Hat, Blood Grenades, and clearing on my mana pool with Clarities and not Null Talisman. But whatever, I wanted to try the Null Talisman. I saw some guy do it. It makes a lot of sense. You do have mana problems on this hero, like pretty severe, and you get to drop it on the ground when you use your mana boots, which is really nice. So next up, let's talk about the item. Why Pavis? Why in the world would you buy this item? So there's a couple of reasons. Number one, your armor isn't that, it's not the best. It's not bad, honestly. It's really not terrible, considering how many stats you have, but it's not the best, so I like that. It gives you health. It gives you an early game barrier, so it's just going to let you fight. And it gives you a mana pool, which is why you don't really need the null. Once you complete the Pavis, you have more than enough mana, then it's really not a problem, which is why I really think the null is probably just slot clog, honestly. But yeah, we make another gank here, and I'm level 8, guys. I mean, the Ember mid with 2 kills. This guy's 2-0 and he's their mid. And he's lower level than me. I'm the same net worth as someone who's 2-0. With first blood. Okay? So we come in, the Morphling did not expect the Veno gank. Pretty easy Gale. The Tinker's like, I'll save you. Yeah, for sure. And look at this damage on Tinker, dude. The playboards just go to work, especially against range heroes that don't have that stout shield block. Like, that's why I like the Blightstone too. It just really helps you chop through people in the early game, as well as just kind of getting more value out of that septic shock. So yeah, another reason why I buy Pavise, and this is huge to me, because a lot of people buy Orchid and it just makes me want to vomit. The amount of like Orchid or Mech Rush Venos I see is just rampant, and I think it is not only bad, I think it's terrible. You don't have mana for Mech, and Orchid just means you're squishy. I think you need an item like Orchid for mana, and you need an item like Mech for HP. So what do? You buy an item that gives both, Pavise. And now, when I have my mana boots up, I'm going to drop my Pavise on the ground. In this case, I can drop Wand, Null, and Pavise. And now, all of a sudden, I actually have mana, because this hero requires a lot of mana. For my next item, it's not Solar Crest, actually. I was convinced by my coach to not buy Solar, only because really Pavise is just all you need. It's 250 barrier. That's plenty. It's all you need as I draw my items on the ground again, and now with 1 clarity and 2 mana boots, I'm back up to full mana. As I hit up the Legion with another gank. I feel kind of bad for this guy. I think he died here, yeah. Oh, Laura. He's probably so tilted, like, and look at the net worth now. And this is what I'm talking about. This happens, like, my sniper got hyper tilted, but I assure you, if he had a slightly more normal game and didn't get tilted, this game would be over at this point. And he got tilted the entire game. And it's the reason why this strategy isn't going to have a high win rate for a long time, because people just won't believe in it. They're stuck in their ways. And even after watching this video and watching how much impact I've had, I mean, look at the impact I'm having. If you think this is even remotely AFK, you're insane. I ganked top 3 times. I've ganked bottom. I could have contested runes. I didn't this game, right? But I can contest runes. I mean, yes, the early game, the first 5 minutes is bad. It's going to hurt your team. There's no way around it, okay? After that, you're ready to go. So for my next item, this is why I don't really like this Null. It makes me slot out my Blightstone, which actually feels not good. But yeah, we're back to jungling. Level 11, pre-11. I was so convinced I was going to be able to carry this game, even though my mid was feeding. Okay, some things go down, but yeah, we're farming up Ancients. At this point, you have a couple of options. You can play really fast. Like, if my game, if I had like a high tempo team comp, like if my carry was higher tempo, I mean, I guess Kez is okay, but he's going Fury, and my mid was having a better game, but like he went to Midas, and so I didn't really have anyone to play with. I mean, maybe this guy, right? But he's even saving up for Helmdom too, so he's not that strong. And so I just, it's a pub, you know, it's a pub. People just do their things. Like, it's kind of sad. And so instead of trying to like play super fast with some crazy gameplay, I'm just going to, as I get hooked here, nice hook, get our vessel charges. Instead of trying to play super fast, I'm just going to scale. And look at this, 7.5k net, minute 12, Pavise, Spirit Vessel, minute 12. And I do this consistently. When I've practiced this in bot lobbies a lot, even with no kills. So if you completely AFK farm, which I do not recommend, you should use your ulti basically off cooldown to get kills. But if you AFK farm, this is a normal timing. This is pretty standard. So I still don't go for Solar Crest because I didn't feel like they had that much physical this game in the early game. I'm more worried about Legion Q, Tinker nukes, Pudge nukes, Ember spam. So I actually think Pipe is the way to go, just to win the early game team fights, and again, to be tanky in the front line as we TP into a fight. And at this point, you really do just solo kill most heroes. As, Sniper having a rough one. But Gale into the Pudge, ulti, Vessel, and for every debuff you put on him, so for all of these debuffs, each one gives me 10% more damage. So that auto attack, my auto attack does a bonus 41 damage here. So we just chunk that guy down. This guy gets roared. Bada bing, bada boom, double kill, 9.2k net. You're probably like, how do you lose this game? Man, this game was insane because it gets better. Like, we continue to win, not shockingly, as this guy almost gets completely poked out. just kind of spamming them with Plague Words. Unfortunately, Legion makes my vessel usage a little bit weird. I have to hold it until she presses. As I decided to just use it on Pudge here, as he gets completely poked out now. I love just poking people with spells. You have to buy Tranquils against Veno. And by the way, they're so lucky that they have this Tinker. This Tinker repair bots is like, it's one of the better responses to Veno chip, right? Because my goal in teamfights is to chip. And the main counter to this, I would say one of the counters is heroes like Tinker are very good. Just that's kind of slowing down that chip and buying mech and pipe. And, you know, this hero is definitely really good against me. So, yeah, at this point, I almost have pipe at minute 16 as we look for a team fight here. I think this fight ends up going really, really well as they kind of overchase. And I'm just looking for an angle to get my ulti. You want to put it on. So if you don't know how Veno spells work, a couple things. So Gale, it's a point and click ability. It's AoE. Whoever it hits, it slows them and it does damage over time. The W, it does full damage on your auto attacks, and then if you apply the Poison Sting with Plague Words, because Plague Words apply Poison Sting, it's the full slow, but it's half the damage per second. So they stack though. So if you hit a hero and a Plague Word hits a hero, it's 2 stacks of Poison Sting damage. So it would be 32 from you and 16 from the Plague Word. So 48 damage for 15 seconds. Like, just one hit from you and one hit from a Plague Word is like 600 magic damage. That's how Veno works. It's pretty nuts, right? But yeah, teamfight breaks out. We get a huge ulti with the Kez ulti, and they just get exploded as the Morphling dies and my ulti spreads to literally everyone. And we almost get a full team wipe here. Get 4 heroes. And yeah, the game seems over at this point, you know? The Veno has 11k net at minute 17, and this is like, I don't want to say it's standard, but this is kind of day in the life of the Veno and the Jungle. And by the way, at this point in the game, you can use the Plague Words to cut waves. You can kind of just like, and I'm going to do this throughout the game, so I'm going to point this out again. Oh, by the way, in terms of talents, I skipped the 10 talent until level 16. I maxed the Q just to get that damage up. Then at level 15, I take Plague Word cooldown, and then at level 10, at level 16, I take Venomous Gale cooldown. I just think it's better to get, like, people like the HP regen reduction, which is okay. It's good against heroes that are buying like pipe and have high HP regen from items like pipe, but it doesn't work against like mech and Holy Locket. It works against the HP regen aura, but not against the active. So don't think that this talent on the left is OP. It's really kind of not that. It's like okay, but I really like the Venomous Gale cooldown. This ability is just good. Like, it's just good. Does a lot of damage. It's like a 500, 600 damage nuke or something like that. So at this point in the game, I actually want to point out a mistake that I made. I think it's important that you guys see this, because at this point, I really believe, I don't want to say the game is over, but we're in an incredible position to just end, right? And there's 2 things I would say. So number 1, I think my next item should probably be Mech, and then the item after that should be Holy Locket. And you can just kind of like amp up your team and just pump out heals, and that's a really nice way to scale. The other item you can buy that I also love is this Aether Lens. The reason why is the ulti cast range isn't the best. It's pretty good. It's the best out of all the spells. Plague Word cast range goes up by a lot, so it lets you scout hills from a very safe place, cut waves from a very safe place, but most importantly is actually Gale. Gale cast range is very awkward and it's kind of hard to hit at high ranges. You have to often go out of position, and so the Aether Lens just lets you do everything at a very, very safe distance. But yeah, I think I made a big mistake here. At this point, the game is in an incredible position. I saw a double wave on the tower, and while I don't think it's the end of the world to TP and farm this out, I do think it's bad because in pubs, people aren't going to wait for you. Sure, you know, could my team like relax for 20 seconds so I can defend this tier 1? Yeah, they could. Will they? Yeah, probably not. And so now my Hoodwink ends up getting dueled, which, you know, pretty unfortunate. And I would easily be able to save him here. I have Solar and Pipe. I mean, he would not die here, right? I mean, he barely died, and I give him, you know, about 700 health. So pretty unfortunate, because if I'm able to get an ulti here, it'd be a huge ulti. I would have gotten a big pipe. My team could have manned up. This would have been a pretty free fight. As you can see, they struggle to kill the Kez here, but unfortunately, he didn't have ult, which I also could have enabled. Because, yeah, look, I mean, once the ulti starts cooking, if I was there, they would have all died. I don't know why my sniper ran away here. This was, like, insane. He did not trust in the Veno. We definitely could have killed them all here. So, this was my main mistake in the game. Obviously, I see it as, like, a half mistake. I don't think in pubs you should TP away from your team once you're super strong, because they're probably just going to run it down. Even if maybe they could wait 20 seconds, they're probably not going to. So I wish I just gave them time. Wow, this guy almost ticked out. Whew, that was close. And so if the game gets weird, the best thing you could do is just set up plague wards deep in a lane. You'll notice here, right, I can just set up this wall of plague wards, and it's really high impact. It's going to get you a lot of farm, and it's going to put a lot of map pressure, right? It really pushes in the wave super efficiently, super safely, and this is a great way to make sure your team can get effective kills on the enemy side of the map and transition kills into towers, right? So that's what I'm looking to do as I get some deep vision. And during the nighttime, I mean, nighttime is heaven for Aether Lens Veno. You just get to plant plague wards, especially with this plague ward cooldown. A lot of people take Poison Sting slow. To me, it's very easy to take. I just think plague ward cooldown is way too good. I mean, this ability is just great. It's vision and wave cut. Like, to me, those are the best two things to have in the late game, which is vision and wave shove. So it's just like way too good. But yeah, I don't want to extend the video too far because at this point, like, we end up going for some pushes. I don't want to say I missed my timing. I mean, your hero scales fine. You get Noxious Plague max HP damage at 20, a level 25. Either of the talents are good. I kind of like the Plague Ward HP and damage because then you only need like 4 or 5 Plague Wards to cut a full wave. And you just are a menace on the map because people can't really kill them because they don't take magic damage. So they are really obnoxious to fight into. They defend towers well, they push towers well, they cut waves well, they're impossible to deward. So I prefer that one, but Noxious Plague reducing 200 attack speed, you can eventually scale into a refresher because your ulti, I mean, is super high impact. This ability is 30% max health damage plus 400, right? This ability is just like insane damage at every stage of the game. And you do want to tell your team to play around it. As, yeah, I mean, we should have just balled up, try to get some pickoffs and end, but that's going to be about all. I think Veno Jungle is insane. I think it's maybe part of the future of Dota, and I think there's a lot of playstyles and strategies that can be built around it. I know there's going to be a lot of naysayers to this type of video, probably a lot of dislikes on this video, but I assure you, if you're someone who's open-minded and gives stuff like this a shot, you'll be ahead of the meta. I don't want to say this will become meta for a while because, again, human beings are just closed-minded. It's a shame. It really is a shame. But, all right, I'll see you guys in the next one, and I'm out.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.